The Hollywood film Argo not only won the Academy Award for Best Picture, it also revived the issue of compensation for the Americans held hostage in Iran more than 30 years ago. As part of their release back in 1981, the hostages were barred from suing Iran in a US court. The BBC's David Willis has the details on the new proposal that could be worth millions of dollars.
We think the crisis in Iran is more urgent.
In America, their plight gave rise to a growing sense of impotence and unease. Captured after militants stormed the US embassy in Tehran, in the 14 months they were held there, the hostages were blindfolded, beaten and tortured. Not even a personal appeal to the man who was to become Iran's supreme leader could put a stop to the brutality. The hostage who made that appeal says he and his colleagues are still haunted by their ordeal.
Had suicide, I know of one, maybe there have been others. There have been family problems, there have been mental problems. Despite denials from the Iranian side and continued stories that we were well treated, that was not the case at all.
Over the years, the hostages had started to feel as though they'd been forgotten about and left to fend for themselves.
I got an idea.
They're a Canadian film.
That changed with the release of Argo. As well as drawing attention to what they went through, the film has prompted one US senator to table a bill granting the hostages compensation.
There's an old saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. You can read a historical novel of the capture of the American embassy in Tehran. You can read about what happened and you know the outcome. But to visually see people in an environment where they're threatened, they're in solitary confinement, they're tortured, they're trying to escape for their lives, it raises the visibility of the entire terror and horror those people went through.
We hear much of...
Signed shortly before Ronald Reagan was sworn in, the agreement securing the hostages' release contained one crucial condition. In return for their freedom, they would forfeit the right to sue the Iranian government for compensation. Having battled unsuccessfully to have that stipulation overturned, the hostages and those who represent them are now taking a different tack. Instead of money from the Iranian government, they're backing a bill that would introduce a surcharge on fines levied against companies that break the US embargo on Iran, with that money being used as compensation. Each would receive $10,000 for every day they spent in captivity, amounting to more than $4 million per person, which wouldn't erase the memories, but would at least mark the end of their long quest for justice. David Willis, BBC News, Washington.